evening again from Audible Elegance here in Cincinnati, Ohio, just a few doors north of the Montgomery Inn. And we always love to have more subscribers, so hit that button and make it happen. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about phono stages, because with a lot of people buying turntables, well, what quality are they really getting? And there are tables out there on the market. We just had an occasion with a customer where he didn't even know that the table that he bought already had a phono stage built into it. So he bought a little outboard phono stage by Cambridge Audio, which we represent, and immediately ran into too much volume and distortion. And we didn't sell him the turntable. This is something he got in mail order, so we don't know what quality it is, but usually those budget tables are of mediocre quality at best, but at least they get to spin LPs. Which I'll digress for a second. They're either called records or they're called LPs. They're not called vinyls, just like you don't have sheeps. We do vinyl, yes, that's a plural, that covers everything. But spin it is all certainly what we want you to do. Now, the first thing, if you're mail ordering a turntable, do take the time to pull the owner's manual out and to look at how they want you to connect it, because there will be your opening clues as to whether it has a phono stage built into it or not to get you in the game. Now, tonight we're going to go for those people who buy a more robust turntable designed around performance in getting all of the information off the record. And they do require outboard phono stages. So I have two really lovely examples here from one company we represent. We also have a lovely phono stage from Bryston, which is extremely well respected, amongst others. This is Riga. And we have the Cambridge, and they run a whole price range and from other manufacturers. They can run a price range of, a couple $100 like the Riga to multi-thousands of dollars. And, the first question is, well, gee, what makes them all different? Now, I'm not going to get into a sonic review of the performance of the devices. I want to give you a basic framework of what starts making them different. And oftentimes when you're dealing with little phono stages like this, they may add a level control like this. This one actually has a USB output, which is very nice. And you have a ground for the turntable. And the connection on the back side is fairly straightforward, in and out. In from the turntable out to your preamplifier. Or your AV receiver, because a lot of those don't have phono stages anymore. But what's more important to take quick note of is the fact that the chassis being so small, they have no ability to build any sort of robust power supply in it. And so many manufacturers go with little outboard power supplies like this, and we affectionately refer to these as wall warts. They're a transformer, a little more circuitry that takes the 110 and steps it down to the voltage, the DC voltage that the little device requires. And in this case, this one steps it down to 24 volts, which is what Riga likes to use. You have to understand that any device that's using a wall wart, these are what are known as unregulated power supplies. So any fluctuation in the currents of the house can well affect the performance, sonic performance of your phono stage, which, during the summer, you've got a lot of heavy demand on electricity. Here in the Midwest and down in the South right now, we're having a cool spell, which is, really remarkable. But folks out there in California or Texas, which is getting just blistered in heat, there's a lot of people pulling the air. So, rather than getting 110 or 120 from the wall, they may only be getting 103, 104. That's going to affect the performance of devices like this. So you get into more robust units, and the first thing that happens with the more robust units is they build an inboard power supply that is regulated so that the voltage and the current supplied to the circuitry inside the unit itself remains as constant as they can make it within the design. And inherently, this is going to result in a better and more consistent performance. Now, they also get fascinating in that recognizing that these better units are being sold to people with better turntables, they want to take it to the next level. So while you have the input and output, you also have what are known as loading characteristics, which are done by the little dip switches. So based upon the cartridge that you're using, you actually adjust the performance of this to work optimally with the cartridge that you're using. They also have a tendency within the chassis themselves to use more effective shielding to the Phono circuitry because you're dealing with a very weak signal. This is pretty much folded metal, and that's it. They can be silver, black, you name the color, but the fundamentals are still pretty much the same. Let me come around, I'll point to a few things on this. We also have not only the moving coil loading, but we also have the moving coil gain, because in moving coils, there are high output moving coils, medium output, and very low output moving coils. So you have quite a range in what you need to do. You'll also see that you have capacitive loading as well as the resistive loading. And the performance is definitely affected by how that signal is loaded. And the manufacturers of phono cartridges, you'll see this in their specifications, will have a recommended range or target for their loading. And Riga's done a very nice job by having this available on the outside. It's not uncommon where, since they know it's going to be dedicated to a particular turntable, that you have to open the unit up and actually throw the switches inside. So Riga likes to use the traditional English box shape, but there are phono stages that are also the 19-inch or 17-inch wide style. We'll put a picture up of the Bryson one, for example, for you to see. But they definitely impact the quality of the performance that you get. So if you have a really nice turntable, you could be throttling your results with using a fairly inexpensive phono stage. And mind you, there's ones out that are much cheaper. I was a hobbyist for years, and in fact, we got into building our own moving coil phono stages, although we had no ability to adjust it like this. And they were actually battery powered, so we didn't pick up any line noise or irregularities. But again, we would have to be very mindful of how fresh that battery is in performance. But it was a lot of fun building them. But a lot of people don't have the time to build them or the knowledge, so we have these little devices for you to enjoy.